The debates and decisions that are shaping our continent now in Europeans.
The opening ceremony for the European Heritage Days 2007 has been held in Belgrade, as Serbia chairs the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe. Europe's anthem was sung by school children invited from all over the continent. Of the 47 members of the Council of Europe, Serbia is a highly symbolic choice, says the Council's Secretary-General, Terry Davis.
This ceremony pays tribute to Serbia, a country which is an integral part of Europe, historically, geographically, culturally and politically.
The European Heritage Days are jointly organised by the Council and the European Commission and attracts millions of people to monuments and cultural sites, both public and private. The event aims to promote and celebrate cultural diversity in the region and rebuild ties between the various communities by putting to the fore their creative achievements and talent. Situated at the confluence of the Danube and Sava rivers, Belgrade is one of Europe's oldest cities. Neolithic, Roman, Celtic, Slavic, Bulgarian, Hungarian, Austrian and Ottoman influences have helped sculpt its character. For Borislav Surdic, each part of this cultural jigsaw needs to be cherished.
Thank you. Enjoy. Now we are on the crossroad that we can speak about heritage in Europe, and I'm afraid of this homogeneous national approach and interpretation of heritage. On the other hand, we can talk about diversity of heritage that really makes unity.
The Cultural Decontamination Centre was set up in secret during the Milosevic regime to oppose its ideology. Its director believes Serbian cultural identity is still fermenting, and this diversity is something that needs to be fought for.
Even in that moment, we are not aware that the question of identity is going to come. The biggest heritage we have is in Serbia, that we have Hungarians, Albanians, Roma people, Jewish people, and this is, for my opinion, the best brand of Serbia, that there is no clear identity, and that will be the battle. We have to show all our past, and where is the trauma is the biggest level of our past.
The multifaceted nature of Serb identities left its traces on a city that's been destroyed no fewer than 40 times in its history. After the collapse of Yugoslavia, the Milosevic years and the 1999 NATO bombings, Serbia is again rebuilding its personality, and that is mirrored in its art. Remont means to repair. It's the name of this association that's striving to put today's Serb creativity back onto the European scene. But it will not be easy.
Our problem, that market system here is not exist. We have the capacity and we have possibility, but we haven't money for production, and in that context we are not ready to present our scene in biggest scene in Europe. We have a big problem with traveling and a big problem with visas. If you haven't visa, you cannot go anywhere.
A newly signed EU agreement with Western Balkan states to soften visa regulations will help reduce queues outside embassies in Belgrade. Mirjan Bajic has represented Serbia at its first appearance as an independent country at the Venice Contemporary Art Biennale. We met him at the National Dramatic Arts Centre in Belgrade.
You still feel this mixture, like to be accepted and to be not accepted because of your national identity. You still bring with you this kind of heritage which bring you this very hard years. You have a young generation who was born in 80s, who was educated through internet, who was children's when all that happens, and so they can start it fresh. And a lot of quality of the cultural scene now, it's depending of the energy of the young people.
Young Serbs can be found at any of the numerous night spots of the capital. Among the new faces on the country's music scene is the group Intruder, who have the chance to represent Serbia in this year's MTV Europe Music Awards. They don't want to be labelled another Balkan ethno-pop band.
Our music is influenced by many genres, not too ethnic. I don't think it would be influenced by Balkans. We don't want to get ourselves caught by any genre. So we began with drum and bass, we began with ambient electro music, but we don't want to get caught. We want to have our right to experiment.
Boris Mitic is a Serbian director with an international reputation after his documentary Pretty Diana. He's keen to maintain his own country's originality in his work.
The further east you go in Europe, the more of these kind of satirical images you will see in real life. You know, the further west you go, the more boring it gets. And I'm trying to record the last moments of this, what I call sweet anarchy that we have here. And for doing that, Belgrade is obviously, you know, becoming more and more sterile and kind of cosmopolitan in a bad way, in terms of free expansion, you know. So I'm going all over the countryside, and that's where you can find even more of these strange shots, which for me are really representative of the state of mind of the people here.
With its heritage, wars and modernity, Serbian cultural identity hasn't lost any of its paradoxes or continuity. The trip ends at the Black Panthers, a hub of gypsy culture in Belgrade. Nothing has changed here over the years. Our music doesn't change, and we've always kept trying to make everyone happy, even when the bombs were falling. People kept coming, from Europe and from elsewhere, to listen to our music. We're part of a European identity and part of the global cultural heritage. People listen to our music all over the world.
Zašto ne bi bili i kulturna baština Evrope i sveta.